Hello guys, in this video we are going to talk about context API and Redux React state management. Guys, is very important interview question. Most of the times they are going to repeat it. And context API and Redux both are the tools managing the state in React application, but they serve different purposes, guys, and excel in different use cases. Number one, context API, what it is, a built-in feature of React for passing the data state down to the component tree without having to explicitly props at every level, guys. So suppose for example, I have a component. Okay, let me show you guys here. See, suppose for example here in without context API, with the context API. See, without context API app.js, and we have the this dot state dot car, suppose for example product list.js and props.cars, and again I need to pass here. See, here I'm passing the state and again the props, and again it will come to the car.js. Is no unnecessary state and unnecessary props we are passing it to every level, guys. That is the problem with the without context API. With the context API we can pass in, see here, app.js and my provider and product list of middle. This is the no middleman and nothing is there, and just I'm going to use this provider and context and car.js. So I'm going to pass, no need to pass the props in every level of the component. We can pass the props in only here, like in my provider.js, or otherwise here in my provider I will go to create the context and consumer. Directly you can use the either use context hook, or otherwise you can pass the directly with provider with props directly. So you can put it in top level of your component, we can reutilize it. So that is the beauty of the context API. Without context API, so often referred as they avoid the prop drilling, guys. We have to do the prop drilling, right? That's the problem. Key features: simplified the state sharing, allow component to subscribe to shared state directly without intermediate props, guys. Lightweight, no external library is required. It's built into React. No, not required anything else like Redux. Other things is not required. Different contexts can be created for different parts of the application. Use cases: sharing the simple application wide state like themes, dark light mode, user authentication information, either user ID and token, languages and localization settings, guys. Limitation: performance issues, frequent re-renders can occur because entire context updates when its value changes, guys. Yes, not designed for the complex state logic and lacks tools for managing complex state transition or asynchronous actions, undo, redo, middleware, guys. So here, not designed for the complex state logic, as I mentioned earlier. Yes, it's very simple applications, guys. If you have any simple applications, we are going to use it for simple applications, not for the big applications. So for the big applications we need to use the Redux. So I will go to talk about in soon about that one. So here, so debugging can become harder compared to the Redux powerful developer tools, guys. Okay. So let's go and have a look in Visual Studio Code. I will open the Visual Studio Code. Let me explain about the code and let me rerun the application, guys. See here. See, I created a counter provider, guys. In this counter provider, let me put this one. So in this counter provider, what I did it, create context. Create context is coming from the React, guys, and use context is the hook, and use reducer another hook, and create context is creating your context, guys, and using the constant counter context and create context. And reducer, how I am going to create in reducer, guys, that using the use reducer, just a counter reducer, state and action, and switch action dot type, and I'm going to action dot type is an increment, return that state count dot +1, and a decrement is count -1, reset is the count 0, default is throw new error handle action type or something, guys. And counter provider, what I'm going to handle it using the use reducer. Use reducer is going to accept of the two parameters, number one, state and dispatch, and I'm going to put it in counter reducer. That counter reducer, where it is coming from, you already created reducer function, right? There it is coming from count 0. You can use it count 0 under counter context.provider, guys. This provider is provided by, where it is counter context, guys, I created already in using the create context. This dot provider it will come and value it's coming the children, whatever the children I'm passing in under here, it will go to work on the children, guys. Here the use counter what I'm going to do using the use context and just counter context I'm putting over here under the context. If it is something is wrong in that, throw the error or otherwise return the context. And now let me close everything, guys, and go to the app.js. Here is the main thing what I done. So app.js what I done, guys, in here constant state count I'm putting and dispatch and use counter already I done in under here, right? In go to the counter here, and I created use counter, right? That use counter I called over here and call that one, and just see return due style, and just you can write whatever you want to. Main thing is you have to remember on click dispatch type increment, on click in dispatch type decrement, on click dispatch reset, guys. Let's go and run this application and then we come to know step by step, and then go to the new terminal, and let me close everything the terminals, and let me run this application, guys. npm start, and we'll see how it's going with this. Yep, here is the application is got open, waiting for to run this server, so it take a little bit time, guys. Let it run. So yeah, see guys, here count is the increment, decrement, and reset. Let me increment, it will go to increment, decrement is decrement, reset means is coming as a 0. That way you have to do it. Next one is I would like to talk about Redux, guys. So how Redux is going to work? Redux, what it is? A predictable state container for JavaScript apps, guys. Often use the React, but also compatible with other libraries frameworks designed for managing application wide state, enabling the predictable state updates. So what is the difference between the context API and Redux, guys? Why you are using already context API is available, why you need to use the Redux? So context API is only for the small applications, keep in mind that, and you can utilize whatever things is provided by React. We need to use it and we can work in only that one. And also once you are updating in one level, it will go to impact in other level. That is the drawback with the context API. And also we will go to use it only for the small applications, not the complicated applications, guys. That is the one of the drawback of the context API. If your company using in small application, go without thinking anything else, go for the context API. Your company is using the user face and it will go to use the wide range of the people on outside. In certainly I will go to recommend for you guys and go for the Redux. Redux is the one of the best choice for the global state management. And what is the centralized store for application state, allowing for the consistent state management and predictable state updates. Use the actions reducers, make a state changes predictable and traceable, guys. Middleware support asynchronous operations, API calls through the middleware like Redux Thunk, Redux Saga, and Redux dev tools, and advanced debugging tools inspecting the state changes and actions, guys. Use cases managing the complex and large scale application state, data that needs to share across the many components. Suppose for example, user profile, shopping cart, app notifications. State with the complex logic or relationship between the pieces of data. Already I mentioned about that one. So in terms of complex logic and in terms of complex applications, you should go for the Redux. So how Redux is working, here is the diagram. The Redux, here UI, and the dispatch, action, reducer, store, and the subscribe, guys. That's the way it's going to work out of the U and UI. And the limitations, boilerplate code. Redux often requires the writing the more code, actions, reducer, store configuration. Overhead for the small apps can be overkill of the simple state sharing needs. And learning curve, guys, concepts like actions, reducers, middleware be challenging for the beginners. But I don't think so, guys, and I don't want to say like it is challenging. It is you can enjoyable, guys, and if you're learning in Redux, it's so absolutely enjoyable. But now it is coming Redux toolkit is another level of learning, that one, guys. Yeah, you can go for it. So before talking about this one, let me explain about the code what I have done over here. So here guys, in so store I created, how I created the store. First you need to install. So go to the terminal again. I would like to show you one of them to install. See here guys, you have to install this command npm install redux react redux guys. React redux is the middleware of the react and redux, and the another tool, and Redux is the normal state management. Directly they are going to provide this one. Just you can install this one. After that you need to create the store.js. In that store.js, what it is there, import create store is coming from the create store is coming from the Redux. Initial state is the count 0, counter reducer state equal to initial state action, switch action type same however it was there for the counter provider guys, and the same thing you need to copy paste. Nothing is got changed, okay, until here. But here the magic is going to be happen over here, but there you're writing the use reducer, right? But here no need to use anything else, just create store is going to create by the Redux, and the store equal to create store counter reducer. That counter reducer is this, and export default store. And this store we need to use the one more thing is there, that is coming from the React Redux. That one is going to provide the provider and store, how where you are going to keep it, that provider. Go to index.js. In this index.js, so already I imported provider. It's coming from the React Redux, is coming from the store guys. Let me comment this piece of code. Okay, so let me open this one guys. Okay, so here see guys, so provider store equal to store. The store is already I showed. This is the store I created, that store, and the app is app what I wrote it guys, just simple one. So I'm going to comment out this piece of code which is not required, that is coming from the context API. I'm going to use this one guys, so dispatch. So here this dispatch use selector, where it is coming from, use selector and use dispatch is provided by the React Redux, and that React Redux is count, and use selector state.count, and dispatch is dispatch that action. And now as dispatch the action type is increment and decrement and reset guys. Let's go and have a look in the browser again, and the same thing, it will go to increment, decrement, reset guys, and same thing is going to work in as expected. Nothing is going to change, okay, the store and all. So let's go and compare within both of them, and we'll understand in more things, like in terms of context and Redux guys. Aspect is the purpose, pass the state down, componentry manageable global complex application state guys. It is the complex application state. Context API is not complex. Setup is minimal, built into React. It is coming from with the React guys, no need to do any extra thing. Required to installing configure Redux, as I showed you, npm install blah blah blah, and you need to install the Redux and React Redux guys. State management, limited simple scenarios, is only limited guys, is not, but it's designed for the complex state logic. Performance may lead re-rendering the issues. That's what in I interpretation properly, and optimized with the reducer and selectors guys. That is the performance. Middleware support, manual handling needed, supports the middleware like Thunk or Saga, and debugging tools, basic debugging, React dev tools, advanced Redux dev tools for time travel debugging guys. Asynchronous handling in use case, require the custom implementation, well supported, and middleware guys. Use case is the small and medium apps or scoped per state. This one is specifically large up scale up by apps with interact with the state logic. That is the comparison between the both guys, context API and Redux. Okay, so when to use the context API, small applications or simple state needs. When you want to avoid the proper theme settings, user authentication data, global settings like language. When to use the Redux, large scale applications guys. Suppose for example with the complex state management needs, and if you whenever you need it, and when state transition involve in complex logic and multiple dependencies or asynchronous operations guys. On the other hand, when debugging the state changes is critical for development guys. Can they work together? Yes, you can use context API for small scoped state. For example, theme, Redux is complex state management and same app. For example, context API handle UI themes authentication state, and Redux is manage the global state data heavy operations like shopping cart or user profiles, whatever you want. Conclusions, guys: use context API for lightweight state sharing needs. Use Redux for the robust and predictable and scalable state management. Your choice depends on the complexity and size of your applications, guys. This is very essential or important interview question. Please go through 1 or 2 times this video to understand about this one, and certainly you're going to crack the any interview perfectly fine, guys. Thank you guys for watching this video. Please subscribe my channel, and if you like this content, thank you. Bye bye.